Chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois.
Mr. Chairman, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
I offer a simple amendment that bars the executive branch from being used to fund the office that does not exist in the executive branch, the office of the Vice President. Last week, we all received a tutorial in U.S. government history from the Vice President's office. Apparently, his office is not an entity within the executive branch. There have been 46 Vice Presidents in U.S. history, and not one of them knew this or ever claimed this position. Perhaps the Vice President thought he occupied an undisclosed fourth branch of government. His claims flies in the face of the Constitution and was offered in an attempt to avoid following the rules governing the treatment of classified information and documents. This claim was particularly ironic this week, given the four-part series the Washington Post ran about the Vice President's role in this administration, and rather than claim that he wasn't part of the executive branch, it sounds like, reading those stories, he is the executive branch. Yesterday, the Vice President was forced to admit that even in what an 8th grade student knew, there is no Cheney branch of government. While the Vice President's excuses may change, his desire to ignore the rule remains just as strong as ever. The Vice President is unwilling to risk that the documents detailing the flawed intelligence or faulty assumptions that led us into the war in Iraq. He has been held unaccountable for 6 years, and now he wants to be unaccountable in the historical record. Whatever his reasons, this penchant for secrecy is not new. Shortly after taking office, the Vice President, in meeting with oil and gas executives and not wanting to turn over that information, claimed he was part of the executive branch. After the Vice President excluded himself from the executive branch, my amendment follows up on the Vice President's assertion and restricts the executive branch funding for the Vice President's office. It leaves intact his Senate presidency office. It delivers two messages. If the Vice President is not in the executive branch, then there is no executive branch office to fund. And perhaps more importantly, it underscores that the Vice President is not above the law and cannot ignore the rules. The law should follow him, whatever branch of government he chooses to hang his hat in. Mr. Speaker, we have a duty to ensure that no individual in our government, no matter how powerful, is allowed to ignore the rules. And when the Vice President is avoiding accountability, it is the Congress's responsibility to demand that accountability. The Vice President must know that no matter what branch of government he may consider himself part of, on any given day or week, he is not above the law. I reserve the balance of my time.